The most memorable moment for me in the Bacchae was when the mother, whose name I cannot really pronounce, uh, kills her own son, and Cadmus is the only one that recognizes the wolf that she thinks that she killed, but is really her son, and she just does not realize that. I think that was pretty startling, but also very exciting to display. The first major conflict I'd like to discuss is Pentheus and Dionysus. Pentheus is very afraid of admitting this new god into his society, and this is very significant to the play because it's basically what the entire story is based around and the very literal meaning of the script of the Bacchae. Second conflict I would discuss would be society and something new. And when I say something new, I mean letting a new power come into your society and being accepting of it, because Thebes and Pentheus were not very accepting of Dionysus, even though other societies have already adopted him in as a god. Thebes was very against this, and Pentheus was very against this, so that was a big conflict in this story. A third conflict, which is very similar to the first conflict that I discussed, was Pentheus and the gods themselves. I think Pentheus had a power problem, and he was very eager to be powerful, and something greater than him was challenging or threatening that, and he was afraid of that. So I think directly that Pentheus had an almost internal conflict with himself and his own emotions. The Maenads depicted in the Bacchae are very ecstatic about their following for Dionysus, and everything that they do is almost over exaggerated of their emotions. Like, they are the followers of Dionysus, but everything that they do is just full of emotion. And a supporting thing of this in the text is how they almost have a connection to Dionysus because they're singing and chanting about his revenge in the text, which is his revenge against Pentheus, who's the king of Thebes. And this tells us about the role of women in Greek society. Is we know that they don't have much of a role in society, so them being able to be so close to a god with Dionysus, I think they're very ecstatic about having this role. I think the cover of the Bacchae has Elvis Presley on it because they almost make a connection between Elvis and Pentheus the king, because Pentheus was going almost not power crazy, but he was very threatened by Dionysus and very against letting him into his society because he was threatened by Dionysus' power as a god. And this is a connection to Elvis because Elvis Presley was the king of is a king because he's the king of rock and roll, and he almost threatened his own life with all the drugs that he kind of took on, and towards the end of his life, all of these crises just began to pile up on him until his inevitable death, similar to Pentheus's inevitable death against the gods.